Oops. Charming way to start. Sorry. Trap wind. There we go. Hello, good evening and welcome, whoever's here. I think it may just be Ian so far. Hello, Ian. We've got one in. I'm not sure whether counters are accurate though. There you are. We've got Man Goody. Mick, we've got Mick. Good evening, Mick. How we all diddling? Have we been doing anything interesting today? I've done diddly squat apart from recovering. Yeah, I've done nothing but recovering. Jeez, you get over one thing and you get another. I think I might be over worst of it. Fingers crossed. So what's everybody been doing today? Ask you the first ones as your first year. I've done it well. Unless you include painting an Earthix tank. I've done nothing. Excellent. Anything good, Mick? Because I've not done a lot with my railway. I ain't gonna lie about it. I've shuffled stuff round in my room and that's about it. Oh, cheers, I'll have a look after, Mick. That's about all I've done, shuffle stuff round in. I finally found me East Lancashire Railway Preservation Society card, just as it's expired, and I've got my new one. So I'm a member there now. I can get free rides and shit. I get free rides and stuff, full day tickets, and I can get discount and stuff. So I may go one Saturday or Sunday and do the full line. Because I've never been up Haywood Way. And I've never done Haywood and I've not done Rottenstone for years. So I'll get a day over and do everywhere. Well, we've got 4 in now. Who's in the background as well as Mick and Ian? It's exactly that. If it's the, which is it? Is it the Matchbox, the little yellow trailer that had the turquoise motorbike on Ian? Yeah, I think it's not far off. I'm not sure on the wheelbases on them, because that Honda motorcycle that Hot Wheels done, it's not far off the old Matchbox. They were both a 754. The one on that trailer is something like 400 for it's a small. Well, I wouldn't say that. I think it's a twin, but it's a more compact bike for the trailer. It'll probably still fit. But I used the Hot Wheels one when I restored the Matchbox K6, the motorcycle transporter. I used it for that, and it's very close, but it might be about 1 millimeter out, because it was a tight fit, if you know what I mean. It fit, but it was tight. You had to push it and clip down. But I think that little turquoise one is more compact. I may be wrong, but oh, these counters are weird. I just had 5 in, and now I'm back down to 3. What's that all about? It's a weird old world. But oh yeah, I've done a couple of things for railway. What are they? Just recently, I've been finding myself messing about with old carriages. I've restored that one a bit. I've painted the roof because the roof were all scratched up down to the plastic. I've painted all the interior the correct colour. I've put people in it. I don't know whether there's one up window there in his white flasher. In fact, there's a couple you can see into. A couple of people you can see inside. That were just white bare plastic inside. So I've painted all the seats, all the compartment walls. I've populated it, is the best way to say. I just need a wheel set now, and we're in business. It picks up the track. It did have lighting in it. It was a lit carriage, but I don't have to have the wheels for the lighting. Because if you get a modern LED strip light unit, it fits up into the roof, and you have a bit of a module with a battery, and it has a magnetic sensor for switching the lights on and off. So I've been doing that for one of my BR carriages for a project. I've got plenty of seated people, but thing is, the repetitive poses, like they're all repetitive. There's perhaps about 6 figures repeated or whatever. But if you paint them different colours and everything and sit them in different areas, you don't notice. Paint a flowery dress on one, and I bought a bag of figures. Even these are repetitive, and they're mostly standing figures. I think there's a couple sitting, but they're mostly standing, and they can be put in the aisles of carriages and stuff. They're not fantastic. They're cheap Chinese, but I can paint them when I'm bored and give them all different colours to what they are. It was the 80s. I can put jeans and like khaki jackets on the lads and combat jackets if I see fit, donkey jackets if they go into work. You can put blouses on the girls, rah-rah skirts. It's a thing of remembering the fashion of the early 80s. Girls wore some reasonably nice stuff. I'll have a look at them, Ian. I had a 30-day ban and it were up the other night. I lasted approximately 5 hours till I got another 30-day ban. Yay! Because I posted what was a smoking hot funny meme. It was awesome. It was really funny. Unfortunately, some of the community don't see that shit as funny. People have lost their sense of humour. It's sad. I mean, I'm a fat fuck, and if people call me fat, and as long as they're not meaning it in offensive, they're meaning funny or something humorous, I'll laugh with them. People have got too serious about themselves now. They forget that in life, they're not that fucking important. Everybody thinks I'm the most important person in the world, when in reality, you're probably something like 60 millionth down the list. It's like Rick Parfitt from Status Quo once said. Yeah, Rick Parfitt from Status Quo once said, he said you can get famous by 3 million people buying your record. He said the population of the UK is about 60 million. He said that means 57 million people didn't give a shit who you were. And that's the way you have to look at it. All these minority groups, this super minority, and they're like, we want all these bloody, we want to be above everyone else, and they don't. That's what it's about. They want to shout louder than everyone else and want days that other people don't get, and all this lot, and they forget they're a huge minority. A lot of groups are. Nobody. And in the great scheme of things, you might get, like, say, you get 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I haven't. I've got more subscribers for my diecast channel than here. I'm nearly ending up to 1,000. And I thank them from being there, but it's not the be all and end all. They just, end of the day, half of them don't give a shit anyway. If you weren't here tomorrow, they'd just find another channel. And believe me, a lot of the time they'd find someone that were doing it better than you. I'm just here to share my hobby. No, I get more bans at the moment, Ian. I'm trying to calm my spending down. I'm going away again a couple of times this year. So I'm trying to keep spending down on locals. Having said that, this month I've bought 3. So it averages out at almost one a week. Technically, one's not a loco. It's a full train set. Well, technically, 2 were full train sets. Good evening. We've got midlife models in. Good evening, PJ. Let the rock and rolling begin. Exactly, Ian. That's the only way you can be. All I ever do with my videos, I record the basic content what I need. Record the basic content what I need, whether it's for my model railway or my die-cast cars. Film me basic bits and bobs I need, edit them all together, then do a narration over top of it, add some music. I had the fade ins, fade out, stuff like that. And it's just a quick package, and it's done as and when I feel like it. I don't commit myself to certain days and stuff because of work and other stuff I want to do. Like today, I've not done anything. I've been a bum. Like I say, I've done bits and pieces. I sorted that one. It needed a new buffer. I threw up, not that end, other end. It needed a new buffer, so just to paint that silver, I'll do it tonight. But that's me RES livery lady Diana Spencer. So that'll be up, and what happened, I buy boxes for my restored locos. I'll have to narrow. You can't really say that long because they're not that long, but it's off screen. By yeah, big, whatever. And I put my locos in them, line them up. I get about 6 locos in each one, but I had all the locos in one and I knocked it off the edge. So when I've got chance, I've been repairing them. But now I'm going to have to do a couple of loco services and stuff. Do loco services, adding on lighting and stuff. Shell suits, yeah. Put shell suits on some of them. Hey. That was getting towards the mid-80s, that, Mick. Early 80s and late 70s. Yeah, there's people coming in group, I think. We've got 6 on the counter. Anybody in the background? Calling anybody in the background. So what have you been up to today, PJ? Excellent. You any good film footage? I'm going to have to get your actual YouTube thing for your drone. See what you put on, PJ. I love stuff like that, drone work. There's some good shizzle. Like there's been, if you look over this way, PJ, there's been a canal breach in Lymm in Cheshire. And I think they may have mentioned him on DMC. For those that have never been in and haven't heard of it, I'll shout the name again, the Die-Cast Modelers Community. It's on Facebook and on YouTube. If you pop in, don't be under the misconception when you go in that it's all die cast. It isn't. It's plastic modelers and renovating old toys. It's not necessarily cars. It can be tin plate toys, and it's a community. And as PJ was saying the other night, we aim not to be rivet counters. Everybody's welcome. No nastiness in it, and I don't get how these cameras work. No nastiness in it, and it's for beginners as much as it. We've got some damn good ones in, but don't be disheartened if you're a beginner. You're as welcome as the good ones. Exactly, PJ. You'll never get subscribers and visitors if you haven't got a video in it. It all starts with one video, like your diecast channel did. That's where ball starts rolling. And you don't know how many you'll get, but what have you been videoing? What sort of area have you been videoing, PJ? Anything interesting? Mother fluffing camera. I've had to arrange the computer around today. For some weird reason, my USB went, my keyboard stopped working. So I've put a splitter in the back and I've got 3 things working off my back passage now. And excellent. Why not? It's up. It's all testing for you, PJ. My mate does drone stuff, and I don't think he has a channel yet, or he may do. Sorry, I'm just getting a. Ignore me for a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, my mate does. I'm sure I'll have to give you a link if he does. I'm sure he does a drone channel, but I don't think he's as into posting videos as I am. I think he has 2 or 3. But they're local to me and they're on the preserved railway. Like, I don't know if he's caught a steam train yet or not. This is weird. Have you ever tried brushing with or combing with using it instead of a mirror? It gives the proper image back, so it's at the other. It's not reflected. It's as it should be. My brain hurts. Sorry, that's better. Got a couple of knots out of it. Yeah, it's they're an interesting thing, these drones. You get some pricks come up to you though. It's modern day, everybody's an expert and a dickhead. They'll come up to you, you have to have a license for one of them round here. No, you fucking don't. Fuck off. Even most of the police that'll come and challenge you don't know the rules on it. They're clueless. There are certain officers that are the drone officers. Some of them are allocated just to that specific thing. because it's complicated. Because some coppers will come out to you and go, you're not allowed to fly over the police station and film in the police station. Well, sorry, but unless it's on a no-flight area, yes, you are. You are fully entitled to film over police stations because the police do not control the airspace above the police station, and they do not control filming in a public place. If there were a particular reason why you couldn't film there was something secret there or whatever, yeah. But there isn't, and if there's anything secret anywhere, it'll already be marked up as a no-fly area. They already mark them up as no-fly areas, so they're an interesting thing, drones. It's like you have to have a license, and I'd get insurance and stuff and read up. There will be, PJ. There will be restrictions. Not as heavy on the smaller ones, but there will be. You'll have restrictions around airfields and no-fly areas. No-fly areas is because a lot of the time there's something secret there and they don't want you to see it. There's a few no-fly areas around here. Like the no-fly areas, even civilian aircraft aren't allowed in there. It's not just drones, even civilian aircraft aren't allowed in. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you have to, Paul. Exactly that. You have to be mindful in it. It's always better checking up with your local area where you can and can't fly. But as for coppers saying police stations are no-fly areas, they're bullshitters. They don't know what they're talking about. A lot of coppers will tell you you can't photograph certain things on the streets, and they bullshit. They've not a clue about the law. They're clueless. Not only did I do some stuff, I worked within the law circles and whatever, where I could nick and stuff and what you could and can't do. I worked up as a photographer and I read up on the photography law. And there's no law saying you can't film anywhere in public. It's like I were outside BAE Systems, and a security guard came up to me and he said, you can't photograph the gate guard they have there. They have the F-35 Lightning and the old Lightning. And they said, you can't photograph them. I said, oh, you're wrong, mate. He said, I'm not wrong, I'm security here. I said, I'll guarantee you, you go and look up your law. I said, because the way you're talking, you don't know what you're talking about. He said, you're not allowed to photograph them. I said, they're visible from a public place. You can't stop anybody taking a photograph of them from a public place. I said, I'd come up your drive, granted. I said, but your security doesn't start till you border at the cabins with a public road. I said, up until here, this is a public road up to your things. I said, it's adopted by the local authority. I said, you'll be responsible after. And after that, yeah, I'm not allowed to photograph on your grounds. You're totally correct. And depending on if it's a protected area or not, you may not be, because it's defence, you may not be allowed to fly a drone over. It's not an airfield, even though it deals with aircraft. Samsbury. It's not an airfield, but it deals with aircraft. And they may have like prototypes outside or sensitive stuff, so they won't want drones flying over. But it's a modern world. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop a Russian or whoever parking 3 miles away, pop a drone up, go over, take some photos, drop back down in car, blaze off? How do you stop it? How do you stop that? You don't. It's one of them things now, so... But as for photographing in public place, that I said I really would go back to your cabin because you don't know what you're on about. I said I'd talk to your boss and ask him. And he went up to the cabin, never come back. And I've got photograph of me stood with my motorcycle in front of the gate guards. But some of them are jobsworths. They get a job like that and they think they're Magnum PI. Or bloody Dixon or Doc Green or whoever you want. When in reality they know very little. Just stick to looking at people's cards and seeing if they match. Yeah, is yours one of them underwater drones, PJ? Some of them go underwater now and film underwater. Okay, amazing. Oh, you should have bought one of them underwater drones. Look it up. I'm sure I watched one on YouTube the other day. The lad that was fishing, he were hovering the drone over the lodge surface, and then he just dropped it on. I thought he's lost that. And then he just went zip underwater and off. I went, WTF? What in universal credit is he doing? What a piece of kit. I'm trying to remember who it was. Bloody underwater drone. What the? Now that I would be interested in for up here because there's a lodge up here and I want to find out what car it is. I may put my GoPro and I might get a remote control boat and put my GoPro on and go over the top of it. But there's a sunken car in the lodge and I'm wondering what sort it is. Years ago, I saw an Opel Manta go off the road and down the embankment nearly over the waterfall. But that got dragged back up onto the road. Hey, drones, you know, today they're amazing. There's so many things they're doing with drones now. I'll tell you what, at least them things aren't hitting each other. What, too soon? I'm just baffled how that helicopter's hit that aircraft. I just don't get it. They say they fly in dark now. Whether that means the aircraft, the helicopter has blacked out the view from outside, so they have to learn instrument flying. But my question is, why would you do that in an approach to an airport? Well, I just don't understand how they've missed an aircraft coming in with its navigation lights on and its landing lights. It's what they have, PJ. What they have for flying. There's a lot of stuff, but the most simple stuff to explain it. Most civil aircraft, like your big jets and that you go on holiday on, them guys are rated on everything. They're rated on visual, what they call VFR, visual flight rules, and their IR as well, which is instrument rated, which means they can fly in fog, heavy rain, heavy cloud cover, which fog is anyway, it's heavy cloud. And what it means, they're flying off the instruments, they're watching all the time, they're watching the level, they're pointing up, they're watching the speed, they're heading, their altitude. Like they're watching all the instruments and flying by instruments with no visual sighting outside. Now, from reports, they both meant to have been doing that, both the airline and the military. But in the military's case, what them helicopter pilots could have been doing when they say fly in black, if it's a clear day and they have outside references, they'll pull blinds down so they can't see outside. So they're flying off instruments and getting used to they'll have a trainer with them. But if they've been doing that, I'm baffled. I can't see any other explanation more for why you wouldn't see a civil jet with navigation lights and landing lights on it coming towards you and why you'd blindly fly into it. That's the only explanation I can come up with. Apart from a pilot's been hell-bent on suicide. But yeah, they were given, you not only fly off your own instruments as well, you have air traffic control, and you're in the video with them. They're giving them, you stick to flight level 32, which will be 3,200 feet. And he'll give the helicopter, you stick to 27, which would give them about 500 foot of clearance. One would pass below the other, or he'd direct them in different directions. Or there's been a cock up somewhere, but that whether them military guys have been relying on air traffic control and air traffic control have fed him into it, or they've not listened to air traffic control. They'll all have to come out in the wash, but they do it when it's bad weather, etc. They do it by air traffic control, and reading instruments like the air traffic control will say stick to 3,200 foot, so he'll get the height on his altimeter, and heading to 250 or whatever, so you'll go to the 250 on your compass, 250 degrees, which it goes from 0 to 360 for the full way around the compass. So that'll give him his heading. And they can give him speed if they want to come in at certain speeds, altitude, and turn left to whatever compass degree. But I've got a feeling they've both been flying under air traffic control, and they've either not followed it or air traffic controls give them wrong info. They've got it together, but it's like everything, PJ. It's not infallible. They have more technology on the aircraft than you have on your drone. But at the end of the day, they still have humans that can override it. Like all the time, like the Airbus A320s, they communicate with the factory. They give all the data to the factory, as well as the flight recorders that are on it. They give the data to the factory, and they give data when they need servicing, how many hours they've flown. So the factory knows everything about them aircraft. It's all on the computer. If you got on an Airbus aircraft in Manchester, the factory would know exactly what it was, where it was going, what speed it was travelling. Like they'd know if its landing gear were up, down, like how many hours the engines had run. It's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's still the human error. You can still have human error in farmer, pilot, or air traffic control. Because all the kit's there. Like, and a lot of the stuff, it's been there for years. You can bring an aircraft down blind onto a runway. But that's one they have to be careful with sometimes. You have AGL. You have altimeters set to AGL and ASL, which one's above ground level and one's above sea level. And they're both slightly different. But yeah, it's and like each airfield, if you set the code of which airfield you want to go to on the aircraft, it'll take you to that beacon. It'll tell you go left, go right, etc. Right, wherever in the world, type the code of the beacon in on the airfield and it'll take you to it. Yeah, basically, PJ. Bloody hell, yeah. Going back a bit, that Ian. I used to have the flight deck, taking in the Phantom. The Earthix one, they were shit. They were crap. You know, I waited months for that toy. Because I've always been interested in aircraft, and I asked for months and months and months as a kid. Because it were advertised on telly, Flight Path. And at that time in the 70s, they used to have Sailor on TV. And it were on the Ark Royal, so you were watching Phantoms and Vixens coming into land on the Ark. Looked fantastic on the TV commercial, Ian. In reality, it was shit. I think I played with it Christmas morning. I gave in with it because you just couldn't get it to work as good as it looked on TV. It was a dreadful. It was a cheap Earthix. All it was were a bit of plastic, a bit of cardboard. Earthix must have been laughing their tits off. They must have got a thought. He were a cheap and nasty cereal box aeroplane. He were nylon, it were fishing line. You could have made that toy. You honestly could have made it with a bit of an handle, a bit of a twoggy, elastic twoggy, some fishing line, a cheap plastic cereal box toy, and some of them eyelets you use for curtains. You could have made that, because it weren't much more than that. It was shit. Earthix must have made a fortune off it. I'm not even sure the box were all that good either, Ian. It was just a whole load of disappointment. Like I said, the television advert were dynamic. It looked the best toy in history to have. Yeah, God, how disappointing that was. I was that excited because I knew I was getting it. I were up about 4 o'clock in the morning trying it. Like, click, launch it, that were it, 5 minutes after parents down. What the hell do you think you're doing? Get back to bed. Still bloody dark yet. Yeah, it was. But Earthix have done some disappointing shit over the years. Well, the Army group has. Scalextric hasn't been so bad. And Hornby Railways, they're more disappointing nowadays than they were in the past. Now they've got the cheap Chinese stuff. But in the past, when it were made at Margate, they were what they were. They were in that gap Hornby back then where they supplied something that was well enough engineered for a kid to give a bit of punishment and it'd last with kids playing with it. But it had to be good enough so an adult could detail it for model railways as well. So in effect, one model were catering for all. No, not at all. The Evil Knievel one. It will jump and that, but not half the stuff it showed. Get hold of one, PJ. They're good fun. I've nowhere to put one here, or I'd have one. I used to have in my loft where I used to live a 21 foot by 5 foot racing circuit. And he used to come in and out and weave about and shake hands and everything. Took a minute or so to go around. Yeah, it took probably a minute, maybe just under a minute to do a full lap. Because I didn't have any of the banked curves, I just had the flat curves. But I used to put talcum powder on so I could drift them. That were proper entertaining. Like you had to know how to race. If you put a bit of talc on the track, and it's like the effect you get off rubber marbles on racing tyres. They slide. Hey, there's some nice stuff bearing that apart, Paul. There's some nice stuff over years been done in Scale Electric. Some really nice cars. They do some proper decent detailed cars. American, they do Mustangs and they do some beautiful cars, Scale Electric. But that's the thing I got about them, Scale Electric. The Chinese and the actual quality, the details there. The detail's good, but the quality isn't quite there. What I used to have, I've had them twice. I've had the 360 cars. I had the original Minis when they first invented the 360 system. They did like banger racing Minis. And they did stock cars as well. And you could do donuts with them and spin them round and kick the arse end out on corners, all sorts. U-turns, you could do the lot. On brake turns, whatever. And later on, I got the Porsche Le Mans car one. In about the 90s, they did a Porsche Le Mans car. But I gave all my Scale Electrics away to a young lad over on the other side of the state here a few years back. I have boxes full of it. I give it away to a young lad. Give him an hobby, something now. And I don't think he did outweigh it. I think he passed it on to someone else. So, hey ho diddly ho. Oh dear, he's getting giddy. He's seen a Batmobile. You're going to be out for that now, aren't you? You're going to be out for it. I bet they bring out, not so long, I bet they bring out the Bat bike. You'll be having one of them. Batman on a motorbike, and they'll make up Joker on another. Yeah, right, what do you call it? It's all good fun. Yeah, they do some cracking. So they've done Fab 1, PJ. I told you about Fab 1. That was a good model. Yes, my lady. Parker, my left breast seems to have fallen out. Can you put it back in? Yes, my lady. It's a tough job, but somebody had to do it. Who thinks Parker were a southern Liam Gallagher? Oh, sorry about that. Just shifting a bit of the old. Get up there. No good seeing it, PJ. Get it on your shelf. Yeah, they don't. You're spending your money. Stop looking at it. Get your hands on it. I know. Shit goes down when we go Stafford swap meet. Last time I were involved as well on that. Jerry Anderson, Space 1999 Eagle. Although, to be fair, others were influential as well. It wasn't just me. But I just said, hey, PJ, you want one of them fuckers? Sorry, just moisturising. I'm not kidding, and I take the piss out of camp, guys. You don't need a queue of folk spending your money, PJ. You do that by yourself, all right. You do it perfectly adequate yourself. Anyway, the 6 in, don't be shy. Don't feel it just has to be me, PJ, Mick and Ian. I've watched most of the James May side ones. I've even watched the Lego and Plasticine one. And although I like the train ones, I have to confess, with being a biker, the best one was Clark, where he built a Meccano motorbike and took it round the Isle of Man circuit. That was spot on. Valleys is here. Good evening, Valleys. Nice to have you along. What have you been up to? I saw you last night in the chat. You didn't say. I said hiya, and you blanked me. I thought charming, and I had my best dress on and everything. Best dress on, I had my makeup on and everything. I look beautiful. Bloody hell. cappuccinos at Greg's. Never live it down. You've not been on your own. I've not been on for a while, Vallis. I had a bad accident and I've been full of colds. I've had work commitments and sometimes I've just been in general pissed off and just not wanting to do it. I've felt under weather and just not wanting to do it, if I'm honest. That's why I say I don't stick to schedules. I have too much going on and for me channels, and it's an hobby. It's fun. I never tell people I'm going to be here at a certain time, or if I'm here, I'm here. Enjoy what I do. But I've absolutely no intention of monetizing. I've absolutely no intention of making it a full-time job. I have one of them, and that pisses me off enough at times. I even had enough of that on Friday. I were ill anyway. I wouldn't have made it through the day anyway on Friday, but I went in morning. I had 1-to-1 in morning. I got up to afternoon and it was floating, but I've been up for 2 nights, coughing with a bad cold, and it had kept me up 2 nights in a row. I puked the day before them 2 nights, coughing. So I just went up to nurse. I went, fuck it, I'm going home. She went, okay. I said, I'll phone when I'm coming back. So I'm going back in morning. Feel a bit, but what we called, I had a bad fall and I ripped all muscles in leg. I ripped all skin off shin. I ripped a patch of skin about that size off my shin. My shin scraped along a grid on the curb. Then it took all the skin off my shin. So it took a week for that to scab over. It took a week for me to be able to get up and put a bit of pressure on. Like they said, have you been to hospital? I said, don't be silly, you know what I'm like. I said, I'm not going A&E and waiting for fucking 30 hours. While some dick decides whether they want to treat me or not. She said, you work in the NHS. I said, I know, why do you think I'm not going? I said, at that time when I had my accident, I didn't have a cold. I said, you think I'm going into an NHS hospital when there's all these germs around? As looking at it, I caught it at fucking work because some of the patients had to go into hospital and they come back with lurgies, so I fucking got it off them. But what do you do? If it's going round and you work in health, you're going to get it. It wasn't half, it's just, I've still got pains in it and I'm on about 3rd, 4th week now. First week of New Year. What a fucker. So, my New Year started excellent. Oh, have you got a bit done on your DCC fitter turntable? I've got to admit, Valleys, I have. Excuse me. Still got bits of that cold. But I have 2 turntables. I have one I want to set up on my Engage American layout. because I'm building a roundhouse on that and a turntable. Like, I'll probably do a bit of that in a bit, set up on. Or I don't know, I may just start afresh, get some fresh wood for that. Because I've got plans with this one, and I want to use the wood for the back scene now, and my second level where all the scenery's going to go up. So I might start building that this week or next. Like the upper level, so I can build my houses, scenery on it. I can paint me back. I'm painting my own back scene. I'm an artist, so I want to depict something different. You know, I want to do my artist touch in it. Rather than, I don't want to buy products off the shelf. I'm doing scratch building and artistic painting. And what I want to do a storm at one side, storm clouds, and then on the other side, I want it blue sky and that, and just clouds going over from as if a storm's just passed over. And I want to model in yards and stuff as well, like it's been a rain shower. I want to model puddles in yards and stuff like that. Because I'm not going to have a water effect on it, but I want to model water effects, if you know what I mean. And I might also gloss paint roofs so it looks like the roofs are wet from a rainstorm passing over. Yeah, it's gonna be something different. Yeah, you see, the thing is, Valleys, I wanna paint like it's meant to be. I was originally gonna do where I used to work, but it became evident, even with 15 foot by 4 foot, it was a junction and it split off like that. And it became evident to do what I wanted to do. So have like a tail chaser. I couldn't really have built that junction. I didn't have enough room to make it work. Because I wanted the section between the two bridges and the stuff. So what I'm doing late 70s, early 80s Salford, around that area. Echoes of it. And I'm doing the bits out of it that made it that area, like a derelict factory across from the signal box. I'm actually, which wasn't on, it wasn't on the actual area I was going to model originally. It was just around the corner. Beyond the bridge I'm going to use as a cut-off point. Excuse me. And the station were round the corner. So what I'm doing, I'm not building a station. I'm building the bridge and the end of the platform coming out from the bridge, and just the station building on the bridge, because the station building were on the bridge at Pendleton, and then a station canopy above the platform, and then make that up to the back scene. And then you can stop the trains with just the nose poking out under the bridge like they stopped at the station. And then they can set off, or, it just, there's a bit of a station there, but it's not built in full. Platform will probably be, say, year long, about that long, which on 15 foot is nothing. And it's partially on the corner, and the back scene will hide it going round the corner. I'm beautiful as is. Are you talking about me putting me beauty products? I'm putting it on, Mick, because I've got dry skin. Believe me, I'm not vain. I don't know, though, just lately, like as I get older, years ago I'd have just had aftershaves, and before that, to me, when I was a teenager, you were gay if you wore an aftershave. Most I used to put on were brut as a teenager. There was something a bit wrong with you if you bought aftershaves as a bloke. For me, I didn't shave anyway as a teenager, but as I get older, I get less fussy, and nowadays I'll buy. If I like the smell of a scent, I'll wear it. And I've always liked that scent. So it's a female scent. But so many of the blokes now, they like female scents. Anyway, I've got Versace blue jeans, man, there. Don't worry though, I'm not going to the side. There's a mucky mare chasing me. And I think I'll let her have me. Anyway, enough of that. I'll tell you. Disney has taken over the James Bond franchise, I've heard. The first film they're going to have is going to be called Cops and Pussy. Oh dear, I went there. I went there. Yeah, hey, I've got a building full of nurses and they all fuss over me. And there's not one of them I'd take on. Oh, there's a couple. There's an Iranian girl works with her, and I just looked at her like that, me, when she first started working with us. I went, oh, you're beautiful, you are. I don't give a fuck about HR, I've got to be honest. I'm at that age now, I don't give a shit about all this PC. And and all this, you can call me by the pronouns and all that. Fuck off, I've not enough time to be worrying about that shit. Either you're a decent enough person by yourself, which if you're turning round and insisting everybody has to use your pronouns and everything, I'm sorry, but you're a dictator, you're a fascist. And you're not the sort of person I want to know anyway, if your behaviour's like that. Me, Jesus, I'm not bothered at work half the time. They go, "Hey, bitch." Oh, right, mates will go, "Hey, fatty," and I have no time to put up with all this bollocks. The modern world of they're just figuring out ways of how to fall out with each other. They're just designing ways to fight each other. And I'm afraid the media and a lot of them in charge are playing a game of Pied Piper, and the daft fuckers are following them. It's like I work with lesbians and gays and stuff, and I was talking to one the other day, like really nice girl. She's like adopted a child, and they're better parents than a lot of straight people. Well, I was talking to her the other day, and I said, "You know these pricks?" I said, "All this LGBTQ, RSPQ, WZ apostrophe, hyphen, fucking smoke signal, whatever." I said, "All this, what?" I said, "They're making a fucking mockery of it." And I think Trump's right. There are only two sexes, there's no others. And I'm happy with homosexuals, I'm happy with lesbians. I understand people feel they're not born in the right body and they want to be males, want to be females, or females want to be male. I go with all that. Live and let live. And bisexuals where people like bis. But past that, they're just starting being dickheads. And it's such an ultra low minority that they're just getting attention seeking, or they're deliberately making things up to get attention. And it really, they're such low numbers past the basics. Past the basic male, lesbian, gay, and male to female, female to male. Past them groups, everything else is just fucking fairy tales. They're just being idiots. You do realise, Ian Ulley, that Old Spice was originally developed as a female perfume. Well, yeah, I understand that, Valleys. You can change throughout your lifetime. I mean, that's a bit harsh if you've got to make absolutely sure you want to be the opposite sex before you change. Because once you've lost your penis or they've turned it, there ain't no going back to how it was. You've made that decision, it's good night Vienna to Mr. Standing Up Straight. Yeah, so am I. It might not work as good as it used to, but it still works. And it's not very big, but you won't like it as a wart on the end of your nose, bitch. ultimate PJ, you're a knob. Code 3. No, but you know, serious stuff apart, you've got to be damn sure you want to spend the rest of your life like that, and it's not just a fad before you make that decision. Because once they do that, there ain't no going. And I fully think all these people that are saying my kid wants to be the opposite sex, when they're 6 and 5, they need locking up for being paedophiles. I'm sorry, they're wrong uns. They're mentally ill and they're wrong. A kid doesn't know whether it wants Weetabix or Sugar Puffs at 6-year-old. And they are meant to be the guardians. And I'm sorry, that is not the child's decision. That is talking them children into that decision. Because any parent worth the salt, all kids do dress up at a young age. I did it. All kids do it. Ain't gonna lie, I had a dress on when I was a kid. All kids do it. It were embarrassing when your mates caught you and said, "Hey, you furry," and you're like, "Fuck off, you did it yourself last week, your mum's." I know. But yeah, we all did it. But as a parent, if you're persuading kids that they know their sexuality, as even 10-year-old, they've not even reached puberty. They don't know what sex is till they reach puberty. Never mind they want to be the other sex. Have I ever considered? Yeah, but it's right, Mick. I know you have the experience in your family. But let's be honest, Mick. Would you have persuaded them to do that? Or would you have told them, "You're doing this"? Like, as a kid, I wouldn't even turn round and say, "You're being straight" or "You're being a gay" to a kid. Changing sex wouldn't even be a subject. But I wouldn't even turn round and say, "You're straight" or "You're gay" when they're kids. And if they mention it, you say, whoa, down there, fella. A responsible parent will say, "You don't make any decisions till you pass puberty. While you're still a child, you don't fucking know." And if they say they do, they're talking bullshit. They're complete and utter, mentally deluded bullshitters. I'm Scots, I wear them anyway, Mick. I've got my kilts in the back. I've got an excuse. I've got a good excuse for wearing them. I'm wearing one when I come to Ireland, see you. I'm not saying it on when I'll have it on when I come seeing you, buddy. I might hold hands even, you never know. Depends how lucky you are. Put a bit of lippy on. Well done, Valid. Yeah, but it's the thing. You know, that anything sexual with a kid should be left till they're old enough to make. Yes, educate them. But even that, I think that's gone too far in schools. Bringing drag queens in and that. Just tell them they exist. They don't. I think, to be honest, they're bringing agendas into schools. And I think one of the things, the world is overpopulated. And what better way to stop people breeding than if they have sex changes or they're in homosexual relationships or you're not getting kids from that. But the trouble is, what they forget is, they need a generation after this generation, after their generation, well, a generation after their generation to look after them. And there's not going to be enough. Because if you cut down here, like at the moment, we're the boomers, we're going to, 20 years and we'll probably be gone. Or most of us will. Some of us will be lucky and get to 90, but there won't be many of us. Governments will have took everything off us by then. We'll have died of fucking hypothermia or whatever. But, yeah, it's... combinations and steel toe caps. Well done, Valleys. Ballerina costume until warmer weather. You see, this is the problem as well. Valley's mentioning that. There's too much leisure time now and people have things a lot easier. They don't have the problems they used to have. A lot of this generation won't even move out from under their mum and dad's roofs. I had my own place by 90. If I had kids and they got past 19, I'd be packing the fuckers suitcases and telling them to get on road and get somewhere. They're not living at home forever. These soft bastards, keep them in you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you support your kids. But I wouldn't. You're not fully prepared. I know things are expensive. They always were. They were expensive when we had to set out. But I had a little pot. First thing I had were a little poxy bed sitter in a rough area of Manchester. You trap people's fingers when you shut windows at night. And it was an all on earth. But it was a start. Got me out of the house. Got me used to living on my own freedom. Important thing, getting some. I didn't keep any of it for long, but I got furniture and items of stuff behind me. I got the knowledge of learning to decorate myself. Because you couldn't pay and get decorators in back then. You got your own pen and you got it as cheap as possible. You went round, do it all with her then. Back in them days, do it all. B&Q didn't even started then. You got trade paint. You couldn't even afford sometimes the coloured emulsions. So what we used to do, get a can of trade white, and you bought a syringe of dye. Stir it. Fucking, I've got green paint. See you Friday, PJ. Nice having you in. Practice me fishing knots. I've heard it called some stuff then. You're off on Pornhub, aren't you? Be honest. Be honest. No lying now. Yeah. Catch you on Friday, if not before, PJ. Good having you in, Cat. Yeah, exactly it. This generation, they'll be at home till they're 63 if parents don't start. It never was cheap to set out on your own. And it was hard. But this generation now, they're entitled. They want everything brand new when they walk into a place. I want a 42-inch telly and bloody Sky TV, and I want a couch from SCS. I want all my kitchen kitted out. And we used to see if one of our mates had a chair we could have. We got a little black and white portable. That was it. You were in then. Bed, chair, black and white portable, plate and a cup and a couple of utensils for kitchen, couple of pans and stuff. No, they have to have everything. It has to be like home, all the comforts and luxuries. You'll never move home you'll never move out if you want all that from the start. You'll always stay with mum and dad. It's, I don't know, they go, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, cry, it's too expensive. They're not doing it as couples. And I'll tell you something. My mate's daughter's just gone out and got a mortgage by herself. So what does that tell you? They're bullshitting. They're full of shit. She's happy as Laurie and proud as anything. She's decorating her own place. She's getting stuff given her off mates. Don't get me wrong, she's got a decent-ish paying job. And she works hard. But she's done it by herself. So what does that tell you about people that are saying they can't manage as a couple? They're full of shit. No, it definitely wasn't that one, Ian. I said, I'll watch Pretty Woman tonight. He said, by that, I hope you mean like the shopping scene and not the one sucking off businessmen. Oh, that's it. I'll be banned off YouTube next. But no, there's a lot. There's a lot wrong now. And I'm not kidding. I think a lot of them like what we'd have got off our parents. We'd have got a good swift kick in the fucking house and so forth. Fuck off and get your act together. Like me, that was basically it with me, valleys. It weren't chucked out, but me dad pissed off and went living with someone else, and I couldn't keep the house going, like, because it was in his name, so I had to find somewhere else. He was like, "You're not coming here with me." So he weren't chucked out, he moved on, and I was left to sort myself out. Yeah, it makes me laugh always, though. I can't manage. We can't manage. We've only got 42,000 a year coming in. Houses are astronomical. Well, I'll tell you what. Put down your Netflix. Get a cheap, normal phone. Don't do as many calls. Don't go McDonald's. Don't go on the piss all the time. Work. Do some shifts instead of going out McDonald's. I know you have to balance your work time and that. Stop buying all the designer gear to show off to your mates, and you'll probably get a deposit in a few years for an house. That's how it's done. But this lot, they want to live the high life, and they want a mortgage, but they can't afford the mortgage because they're living above their means. You have to be the old word. You have to be committed and decide you want to do something. Which today we've bred into the society that they think they're owed it. It should come automatically, which isn't the case. Anyway, how long have I done? Done an hour and a half. Well, just over. I might call it a day in a minute and go and get a bath for tomorrow so I smell sweet for ladies. So I'm not all pongy. Because I might get paired up with a nice lady tomorrow. Mind you, I might get time paired up with one of the lads. One of them's gay. I better not put me perfume on. You never know. Mind you, any porting storm, it's modern society. I'm not allowed to like be prejudiced and stuff. Have to be diverse. I'm not. You never know. I might enjoy it once I get started. I wouldn't anyway. Subjects come up. He don't fancy me, bitch. How could you not? I'm Teddy Bear. Right. So it's been good finding out what you've all been up to. And I don't know whether I'm off next week or not. Like I say, always put your eye across, and it might be late by the time because I decide on the day really if I'm doing it or not. If I'm in right frame of mind, I'll do it. If I'm not, I'll avoid it. But there's Ian. I'll just say on here, if you ever need to have a chat during week, don't hesitate. If I'm in, I'll answer. Have a quick chat. Never hesitate, fella. Liz, I keep my eye out for you on other threads. I'm trying to remember whose it was yesterday. I was on. He doesn't notify me, you know. He does. I'm trying to remember his name. Whose thread were you on yesterday, Valis? Yeah, he doesn't know. Because I cracked a joke and it weren't even that bad. It was just humorous. Oh no, I barred myself from that one. I barred myself from RGJ. I don't particularly get on with them. They're a bit they're not my type. They'll be leading on and like she shows cleavage and they'll be leading on and then when you have a crack back with them, they're like, oh, you can't be saying that. Car. Yeah, they're not my type of talks. Yeah, you can't be suggestive, like, and there's no doubt, I'm not saying they're not nice people, but there's no way you can be suggestive, show cleavage, do stuff like that and have a laugh about it. Then when somebody has a laugh back, they're wrong. Nah, sorry. So yeah, I barred myself from those. Like I say, I'm not saying they're not nice people. I'm just not into the way they run their chats and stuff. Yeah, it weren't that one. It wasn't that one because I don't go on to the chats, Valis. It was the other one I saw you on. The chaps one. He don't talk to me. Because again, I used some wit with him and it weren't even rude, it was just witty, and I think he were embarrassed because it went over the top of his head. So ever since then, he won't engage with me. Because he's one of them, he's a bit, I think he's been a bit sheltered, if you get what I mean. It's the got a voice a bit like that. What were he talking about? Trying to remember what he was talking about. I like some of the things on his channel, but he's a bit mild and tame for me. You know, a bit. I think he's had a bit of a sheltered life by sounds of him. Maybe lived at home with parents, gone uni, dad on all stuff like that. No, him is all right, the model railway guy. I know who you mean there. No, he's all right then. Well, obvious. I'll just have a look, see if I can see on another YouTube thing. I'll tell you in a minute. Open another one up and have a look. Not hot dog either on a Sunday. It was Thinnerton. Let's have a look, I'll double check. Yeah, it's Finnerton. Yeah, Finnerton Central. He strikes me as having a sheltered life and stuff. I may be wrong, I don't know, but I'm not saying he's a nasty guy or anything, or it's just some of his jokes and stuff just went right over the top. It wasn't that he were offended, he just didn't understand. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a nice bloke. He's just not. There's a lot in the model railway hobby that, I mean, you see, I'm ex-force. Well, not ex-full-time forces. I've done forces. Been a mechanic, been truck driver. I've worked in engineering and stuff. So I'm a blunt and boisterous lad. Some of the lads I'm not about with. And they weren't office guys and shop assistants, is what I'm saying. And so, and you can tell with a lot of them, they ruin stuff and a bit. It doesn't make them not nice, but it makes them on a bit of a, if you know what I mean, a bit of a different planet. So I'm on another planet, I'll admit. But to be fair, there's a bit of difference to, I mean, at the moment, I work NHS and stuff, basically. But as well, younger days, you train to kill and defuse bombs. Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much, Ian. Yeah, it's one of them things. You have different perspectives on life when you're trained to do bomb disposal, and you have a different perspective to office lads. When they do first aid and they're not, they're not dealing with plasters, they're dealing with tourniquets and field dressings you bung into open wounds. They say, all you're dealing with here is fastest way to stop major bleeds. He says if they're choking, they train you to drag the tongue out of the throat, and it's just not the same as civis rate. Yeah, it's like when I go on first aid at work. I'm in NHS and we can come across some sites as well. Like my speciality I work with, I'm actually a private company and it's classed as a nursing home now. But it's not really, it's more of an hospital because we deal with tracheostomies, catheters, and so it's nowhere near a nursing home. It's more what you do with nursing. But even there, I've been on first aid there, and they've said, "Jesus, stuff you've done has made you." I said, "No." Said you trained first aid from battlefield. You trained if somebody's had a leg shot off or blown off. Crank a tourniquet on it and field dressing. Yeah, emergency admissions. It's even then, unless you have a really severe car accident or whatever, or industrial accident, you're not getting close to what you get on a battlefield. And don't get me wrong though, there can be horrendous. I wouldn't like to be a paramedic. I did think about it at one point, but then you climbing inside cars that have been compressed to nothing with fire brigade trying to keep somebody alive while we drag them out. Especially if it's kids or, I mean, them poor sods in Essex. I mean, they've probably been being dicks, but they didn't deserve to die for it. Like it's meant to be 3 lads and 1 girl student, all killed in one car that's hit a shot. But I'm guessing they were going at one hell of a speed. I think they've been tunning it because it's totally demolished the shop, and the cops have said the car were unrecognisable. So I guess they've died on impact, or if not on impact, very shortly after. They wouldn't have had time to rescue them anyway. Yeah, it's not the easiest of jobs sometimes. COVID were awful because we had part of it. It did get into the unit, and we had to section part of it off for COVID. And some young girls grew up very fast during COVID. One of the girls, God bless her, had to sit there with a chap while he were dying. He knew he were dying. And he were asking for his family, and his family couldn't see him. And she had to sit with him while he were, because he had a one-to-one while he were dying. She had to sit to him with him, God bless her. I've not had to go in when they're actually dying as yet. But I've been close. I've been on crash teams when they've had serious seizures and had to have the midazolam administered. One of the lads the other week were out with a seizure for about half hour, maybe more. And you're like, geez, do we call an ambulance or... Because unfortunately now the way the NHS... Years ago, when I first started, you had a list of who you weren't allowed to resuscitate. We had a list, and there were... Ours is 28 people capacity for patients. And out of the 28, there were about 5 that we weren't allowed to resuscitate. Now out of the 28, there's about 2 that we are allowed to resuscitate. All the others, we just keep them comfy till they pass away. Which... And some of it, when you've looked at what the actual NHS, the doctors and parents and everything have decided, some of you make no sense. There's some that you aren't allowed to... There's some of them are in decent health. You're not allowed to resuscitate. And they can eat, they can talk to you, and everything. Some of them we're not allowed to resuscitate. But there's others, they can't talk to you. They have very little life quality compared to the other. Well, you can resuscitate them. Different doctors making different decisions, and some of it, it don't make sense to me. It's like, it's a confusing old thing with all the legalities in it and everything. You're like, who come up with this idea? Yeah. But yeah, I've only what, about 6 years to do now. That should go quick. I don't think I'll carry on working after I have to retire. I want my last years to myself. I'm selfish. I don't care if I'm skint and sat reading old copies of the Dandy or something. As long as I have pie and chips each day or whatever. A brew. Something to read or something to do. I'm not asked about jetting everywhere. I'm a very simple person. Food, roof over my head. Ain't bothered if it's a tent. But food, roof over my head. Bit of something to keep me entertained. I'm not cared about TV or whatever. Yeah, I have simple things. At the moment, my simple thing is, oh shit, that's what I knocked down the back. Where's the box then? I'll show the box. At the moment, my simple thing is that. Cost. It was less than a tenner. I think it were about £8. Showing its age now, but I suppose it's built up okay. Many in our case can't make the decisions themselves because with brain injury, many can't talk and can't communicate. And so in that case, it comes down to it comes down to a best interest decision, and doctors have to be involved. The care home or wherever they went are involved, do what we on day to day. The local authority and the courts, they have to have. It's not just something one person can decide by themselves. But on what I'm saying is, since COVID, they've got more into it, more into, like, basically, adios, they're letting people go. They won't struggle to keep you alive like they used to. Once you get to a certain age or you're sick, you have serious injuries and that, sorry, but they don't keep you anymore. It's a sad state of affairs here. I think, to be honest, the country now, it's broke. The country has no money of its own. We have we have no industry as such. It's It's a sad state of affairs, but I think the UK is broke. It's like that. They're bringing people in from abroad. Not being funny, but in my line of work, you get a lot, and a lot of them, they don't tell you, but a lot of them have been refugees in the past. We have people at the moment can't talk a word of English in the type of jobs we have. Now, don't get me wrong, lovely people, absolutely nothing against them, but you 2 or 3 times shouting to them just to pass you something, and that can be critical if you've got somebody's life you're trying to save. For one of the ones we are allowed to resource, it can be time critical, and where do you go with it? Like there was a lad the other day, they said to him, can't talk a word. I love him bits, he's a lovely lad, lovely nature, I can have a laugh with him, like, get past the language thing and that. Well, you'll say to him, go and get a piece of equipment, and he'll walk off, and I'll go, where the fuck's he gone? And I'll go looking for him, and he's in the room just looking around at all the things, and I say, it's there right in front of your eyes. So it's just a day-to-day struggle sometimes. And you're like, I don't know whether it's... Well, it's not they can't get the people. The people are out there, but they don't want to pay them enough anymore. We've got no pay increase this year. Or certainly we haven't got one that'll keep up. We haven't been given a pay increase that'll keep up with all the charges and all the increases in things. I'm not exactly struggling, but I am starting. Well, I weren't exactly struggling a couple of years ago, but I'm having to cut my spending now. Not to keep my head above water. I've got an overdraft and I'm just into it. But I'll have to have a couple of months where I'm not spending anything to get it back down to a state where I'm not using my overdraft for saving money to go abroad. Because I'm going, well, abroad, one to Ireland, one to Portugal this year, but it's forever driving prices down. Like they say, all the immigrants coming in, they're not going to stop them because the people at the top, that's what they want them doing. They want them in to pay shit wages to them, to undercut us. Let's be blunt about it, they'll undercut us. Because what our company's done, we changed from an American owner to a German owner. Straight away, standards went down. Straight off the bat, they went down as soon as Germans got hold of it. They want as much money out of it as possible, but they don't want to pay. And we went from hospital status to care home status. Now, us, the older employees, we still get our older pay rate, but the new people they're taking on, they're paying them a care home pay rate. But they're not giving us pay increases, but they have to put the lower paid care home ones up. So eventually, our wages will level out. So that's what they've done it for. Before it's, it'll be better for you, sold it to us. No, it won't. We've kept all our old pay, But what they're doing is the new people can go on minimum wage because it's classed as a care home. It's not an hospital anymore. We still have the hospital rate, but they're not. It's not compulsory to give us a rise if it's above. If we're above national minimum wage, they don't have to give us a rise. So what's happening now? Minimum wage goes up, their wages go up that started on the care home, right? But ours don't, so we're coming down, and eventually we'll meet them. So eventually we're on the same grade, and they'll just put them up. Crafty bastard. And I'll vouch that our company isn't the only one in the country doing it. There'll be thousands of them doing that. Where they had skilled people, there'll be thousands doing it. They've changed the status, changed job descriptions. It's like a welder, and I've got crafty engineers and that. But a welder I know, he went to an interview, and they said, "How much do you pay the welder?" And they said, "It's debatable." He said, "All right then." He says, "Put me on welding bench," and he put him on welding bench. And he just cracked torch over like that, and he went, and he did an absolutely fucking beautiful weld. It went like butter, and it was flawless because he's a fucking good welder. And then next to it, he did a bird shit weld and just welded it. Was good enough. He was just good enough to pass. He'd have passed the inspection. And the boss said, "What's that?" He said, "That's your £30 an hour weld," or whatever it was he wanted. He said, "And that's your weld for just above minimum wage." He said, "You're not getting me good work for minimum wage." And he said, "I'll make you make your mind up on that. If you want me, you've got my phone number." He said, "But I'm not working for peanuts." And he went. "Oh, hello, Brian. You all right? I'll stay on for a little bit longer, Brian." "Yeah, I'll stay." Oh, Jesus. Oh, what's happening? What in the universal credit? Yeah, it's one of them. The country's changing now, and everything in it, the morals and everything's changed in Britain. It's not the country I once knew. Fantastic. You mean boxing items or boxing? Spot on, Valleys. There's no point in doing over your targets if they don't mention it. Making boxes, fantastic. Fantastic. There isn't, Mick. I thought you'd gone. You're still in there, Mick. No, you're right. There isn't an incentive, and it's wrong. You know, my mate says it where he works. He says, I can go in, work my arse off all day. He said, and there's others around you skiving and everything. And he said, and they think more of the skiver than me. And he said, and I'm getting the work out for them. It's ridiculous. I could tell you some tales from my place, but we've got a few at my place, and I get off with it because I turn round. They try pushing me around, and I turn round and I said, like the bullies, and they think they run the place and stuff. And to new people, it can be intimidating. And I just turn round and say, they turn round and go, are you not getting up and doing that? I said, no, I'm having 5 minutes. Oh, you're lazy, you're not. I said, I'm lazy. I said, you're one of the fucking laziest fuckers here. I said, I'm not taking that shit off you. Now on your bike and fuck off. And they go, can't say that. I said it. Not putting up with your bullshit. I got a couple of them last week. I said, I'm not putting up with your bullshit. You're some of the worst ones here and you're having a go with other people. So they don't talk to me for about 3 days, then eventually they start talking, because I hold no grudges. I don't hold any grudges with anyone, but I will tell them to go and sit on the end of a brush if they wind me up. I'm too old. I'm too old to be putting up with shit at work like I would have done when I was 30. I'm not a 30-year-old anymore. I'm double that. I don't put up with shit like I used to. I just tell them, go do one. I'm amazed a lot of the time I'm not in HR. But I don't take it as far as insulting them. The one thing I never do is make it personal. But if they're lazy bastards, I will call them out. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? It's like there's people that'll make note in a company and they get just as thought of as the ones rushing round. I had one last job I left. It was partly because of him. It were a bit political, partly because of him. But we had a girl working for us, and she was a lovely woman. She was fantastic with the service users. She was an ex-intensive care nurse. Really knew her stuff on drugs and patients, looking after new laws and everything. She'd been to college, uni for nursing, obviously, because she was a qualified nurse. And she put in for a senior's job. And at the same time, a young lad, he was absolutely fucking clueless. He was useless. He really irritated, really pissed me off. He just had to say something and he pissed me off. Because the amount of times I said, you're wrong, you can't do that, this is how we do it, and no, you don't do it, this is how we do it. And I said, you know something, he's going to cause an accident. And I left, and he did. He ended up losing on one of the service users. Not a death, but they took him out of that service and put him with a new one. because he didn't follow what I put somebody in place, and the lad would have been safe with me, but he didn't follow it. But at the time, this young lady, she put in for senior's position, and he put in for it, and he was a management crawler. He was bloody useless, but he was a management crawler in his first fit, so he got it. And I said, you know something? She said, I'm leaving, I've had enough. And I said, and I don't blame you. And week after, I said, I'm handing me notice in. And they said, why? I said, she should have been here, not him. I said, I can work with him while I'm here, while I'm working my notice. But I said, I'll make no bones about it. I don't like the lad. And I said, and he'll cause problems for you. And he did. But what can you do? It wasn't that it was hard. It wasn't that it was hard, Ian. It was that the company made the totally wrong decision. I wouldn't have even put him in that job, no matter how much he crawled to management. It's obvious which one you want, but I'm not too bad. How are you? How are you, Brian? Yeah, I keep saying I'm an old bastard, and they're going, "Oh, you're not. Yeah, you look younger than you are. If you shaved your beard off," I said, "Forget it. It's not happening." They said, "You look younger than you are." Forget it, ain't happening. Keeping my beard. Yeah, I'm having a little bit longer. I've been on 2:17, 2 hours 17. I'll probably do till that past, and then I'll call it a night, perhaps. Fantastic, Ian. Like I've said to you, if you're ever at loose end and I'm off work, give us a ring. Mick does. I've not been in a good place lately, what with various things, but Mick does. And if Mick doesn't get hold of us, I'll ring him. But yeah, you know you can ring me or Mick. Ian, that's no issue. Have a chat, shoot the breeze, what we're up to. For 10 minutes in between coughing, snorting. I should have spat it into a bucket. I'd have had enough for wallpaper paste by now. Yeah, give us a ring, Ian. Don't worry about it. This week I'm in Monday, Wednesday, or I might not be. I'm wondering, I may have a 4-day week this week. I'll have to check. Because I won't be off at weekend, I've just had this weekend. So I won't have another weekend. So I may have 2 days during the week to cater for the weekend, because I'm normally in a day, off a day, in a day, off a day, in a day. but sometimes I put 2 days. So I've probably got a 4-day week this week. I'll probably be in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. That's a guess. There were indeed. There were. That were when men had men's jobs, though. Valleys in the steelworks and pits and foundries. And they had men's jobs. Properly working on the railways with a steam locomotive. They'd be raw, pop, pick the coal dust out of that shit. Yeah, sounds good. I may be making a video, Ian, but I shouldn't be a million miles away. It depends if my parcel arrives. I've been buying shit on eBay. It should be a good video though. I bought a train set and it's a non-runner, but I'm guessing it's a runner. You'll see on video anyway when I do it. I'm pretty confident it'll be a runner. Or if I can't get it to go without opening it up, it's not going to take a lot. Fantastic. Now don't we a bit of Lemmy. Bloody Lemmy. Yeah, I remember, bloody hell. I've got a silver machine. I've got a silver machine. Fantastic. Happy days. Yeah, it's been a funny old day. Like I say, I haven't got a lot done. Apart from messing with that doing... Where is it? It's just fell off down here somewhere. I've been making an earth fix tank. Well, I made it last night. I've been painting it today. Starting laying paint on it. Hang on. That's a model railway carriage. An American one. Got that in a job lot of locomotives. I think that was that one that made you laugh with Mick. That eBay box of shite. You remember when I put up that eBay box of shite? That was the carriage that were in with the locos. But a load of locos, silly price. Load of Athern American locos. I got them for about 20, 30 quid, silly price. There were about 7 or 8 locos. They all needed bits of work. I've still got some to do. But little bits and bobs to get them going. Nothing. Yeah, that's it. I've been doing some work on that after it. I painted it, dry brushed it, put a wash on. I'm going to do some dry brushing on it again. Now I've got the wash on. And we should be right. I've knocked one of the arches off it. I won't be bothering looking for that. Fantastic. There aren't many I can't get going. There's a couple on here waiting in line. I've got that box of locos the other day I got. Knocking shit off my window ledge. I've restored one. I've not done a video for it. It weren't quite good enough for a video, but it were an old wreck and I've done a bit of weathering on it. Done repairs on it. I'm putting a screen on. I've still to do finishing touches on it. I've serviced all the mortar. I'm waiting for an insulating. I could have made one, but I'm waiting for the proper triangle insulating washer for that. And then put it back together. And I can see how that runs. Like I say, I'm still painting and weathering on that. Just something to do. I got it in a dirt cheap box. Thank you, Brian. Easy to DCC chip them. Doddle. They're a doddle. Doddle Lathern. All you have to do is insulate the mortar from the chassis and use your two wires. One goes through the copper strip. You can take that off, and as long as the motor's in, because your motor's on the rubber mounts at the bottom, it's held in with them. Your motor on Athens. That's two rubber blocks that you press into the sides of the motor. Then they press down into the chassis. So that's your motor. It's isolated from the chassis then. Well, no, it isn't, sorry, because on the bottom, it has two prongs that go like that and touch the chassis. You need to get them off the chassis. And then when it pushes down, if they don't put... Well, that's it. You just... Everything's insulated from the motor. You run your wires to the motor then. Then from the chit, you run... One pickup's the copper strip at the top. And one of them's the chassis. So you put one wire to your chassis and one wire to that copper strip at the top. Or your pickups, there's two. It picks up from either bogie and transfers to your copper strip to take it to the motor. And lights, but once you get your DCC chip in, you can wire your LEDs to your chip. So you can have your light switch on and off. I've got one note there, weird. I don't even know if it's DCC. I've got a... I've got a big one, American bonnet logo. The F7, I think it is, or F6. And it has a flashing Mars light. at top of the bonnet, and it flicks between two like a flickering mat. Very good. Right, night, Nick. Yeah, it is. It's an early triangle. Yeah, they fairly. I don't think I've got one in here, and I don't think I've got an Atherner. I'd show you. They're reasonably simple. Having a look, see if there's one about. I don't think there is. No. If it had been a month or two back, there was one on my windowsill. Yeah, but it's fairly simple. That's all you have to do with any DCC. If you're hardwiring them, isolate your motor so it's not touching any metal on the chassis. Have your two motor wires. They go to your chit. I forget the colours at the moment, but they go to your chip's motor out wires. And your two connectors for your power in from whatever wheels you've got. You can bank them together and stuff. And your two connections go to your power in. That's about it. That's why it's tricky to do. It's tricky to do split chassis motors like Bachmann and stuff. You can still do them, but what you have to do, you have to fully make sure, because how the split chassis ones work, the two sides touch the motor and make contact, and you've no real room to play with. So what you have to do is insulate that motor so it's not touching the two chassis sides for the conduct. You have to put wires into the motor for each side that's insulated, put that to the chit, and then put the two sides of the chassis wired in to the motor, into the chit on the inbound side. It's actually quite simple. A lot of people make it sound harder than it is. The actual basics are very simple. It's just at all costs you make sure that motor's insulated and your two power contacts are insulated from making contact with each other, or you'll blow chips. But apart from that, it's bog simple electronics theory. Anyway, that for tonight. Some of them aren't bad, you know. Some aren't too bad, others are crap, but some aren't. Like I got one of Bachmann, my mate said, I'll charge you about a Bachmann steam engine. He said it's a non-runner. If you can get it running, you can. I think he charged us 20-30 quid for it. I went, right, okay, come home, stripped it fully down. And Bachmann's, when they get older, they use the bluey grease, some of the old ones. And it ends up like tar, it ends up like glue. And it glues the gears together. And you have to strip all that old blue grease off. It's a nightmare to get off all the workings, because it clings like snot to a blanket. And you get it off, clean all the chassis, clean all gears and everything, re-lube it, and they run sweet. Run sweet. Because they're already run in and everything. It's just the old grease has coagulated, if you will, and stuck everything together. But it ran sweet. Yeah, there were some good ones. Anyway, chaps, I'm going to say night for tonight because I want to brew. I want to chill. I want to get to bed in a bit for working morning. So I'll say to you, though, fella, it's been a lovely night again. And catch you later. And tatty pie. Thank you all for attending. Yeah, you're welcome, Bri. It's not a formal thing. It's like tavern, drop in when you want. And you're more than... oh, Jesus, you're more than welcome. Yeah, tatty pie. Yeah, it's one of them things, Brian. I don't guarantee I'll be in every week because I won't. It's a hobby and I run it on a hobby basis. Just keep an eye out. If I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not, I'm not. It's just a bit of fun. Anyway, take care, lads, and thanks for dropping in. See yous all later. Tatty pie. How do I swap? Oh, there we go. Tatty pie.